The moment I saw Li Jingyuan, my face immediately lost color. If it weren't for his warm breath on my neck, I wanted to escape. I didn't realize that my hair was trembling and I was extremely stiff. It was because I was a canary in my previous life. The forced memory was too deep. So after rebirth, I still couldn't get rid of Li Jingyuan's shadow, until the agent came in hurriedly. I suddenly came to my senses, struggled to push Li Jingyuan aside. Choo-choo. Everyone outside is toasting to President Li. What are you doing hiding here? The agent Li Go was looking at his phone. He talked non-stop, but he never thought that when he looked up, he saw Li Jingyuan on the side. Instantly, his face full of impatience turned into extremely flattering. His eyes kept turning between me who was panting and Li Jingyuan who was lying on the sofa beside him, then he smiled knowingly. If you had said you would accompany Mr. Li earlier, I would have been keeping watch outside the door. Don't you think it's a pity for me to disturb Mr. Li? I hadn't heard such unabashed words for a long time, and I was stunned. I realized immediately that this agent was my original agent. In my previous life, he sold me to Li Jingyuan without hesitation and got investment. From then on, I have been entangled with Li Jingyuan all my life. I saw that the atmosphere was gone. Li Jingyuan stood up and loosened his tie. He showed his strong chest without any concern. He smiled at me. Let me get to know you again. I am Li Jingyuan. Although I was abrupt to Miss Chu in excitement just now, I sincerely invite Miss Chu to be my female companion. Seeing Li Jingyuan suddenly speaking such polite words like a human being, a huge sense of absurdity enveloped me. My experience in my previous life told me that Li Jingyuan would not be a human being in the future. I couldn't help but frown, and my subconscious resistance to fate returned to the starting point. In this new life, I don't want to be involved with Li Jingyuan again. Mr. Li can choose anyone as your female companion as long as he waves his hand. Why do you have to embarrass me? Seeing my face full of resistance, Brother Li on the side interrupted anxiously. Choo-choo, Mr. Li's female companion is absent today, and he finally chose you among all the female stars in the audience. How can you be so ungrateful? The benefits that are about to be obtained are about to be lost. Brother Li, who has always been good-tempered to me, a cash cow, can't help but blame me anxiously. But Li Jingyuan heard what Brother Li said. His eyes instantly became extremely sharp. He interrupted. Let Choo-choo choose by herself. Don't force her. He turned to me and smiled. Choo-choo, be my female companion. Okay. I looked at the scene in front of me, which gradually overlapped with my previous life. My body kept shaking. It was as if I had returned to this body because of the injury suffered by Li Jingyuan. The words of Li Jingyuan in my previous life rang in my ears again. Choo-choo, I never thought that you would deliberately abort your child because of jealousy of Lin Suqian. You are just a lowly canary. In my heart, you will never be as good as Lin Suqian. I raised my eyes and looked straight into Li Jingyuan's eyes with a firm tone, overlapping with the desperate cry before death in my previous life. I don't want to be your female companion. If I could, I would rather not have met you. The beginning of my bad fate with Li Jingyuan in my previous life, it was just because of his bet with Bai Yueguang, and I happened to be the one who looked most like Lin Suqian among the actresses present. At that time, for me, being Li Jingyuan's female companion was like soaring to the sky. I became a top-tier actress in the entertainment industry, and because of this, I often accompanied Li Jingyuan to various dinners. On the first day he selected me, he frowned at me. If you haven't been famous, you are just a petty person. Don't even ask me to take you out. You are not presentable. I was so naive at that time, I just blindly believed what my agent Li said. Under his earnest teachings, I became self-aware of being a canary. He asked me to grow long hair, so I gave up my short hair that I had worn for more than 10 years. He asked me to wear long skirts, so I threw away all the shorts in my closet. He asked me not to laugh loudly, so I practiced smiling without showing my teeth in front of the mirror. I broke myself up for him bit by bit, but I didn't want to be able to put myself together again. His control was getting stronger and stronger. And because of Li's earnest teachings, I was afraid that Li Jingyuan would abandon me. I would have no way to make a living in the entertainment industry, and I couldn't even afford the money to treat my mother's illness. So after he asked me to learn dancing, even if I stayed up all night for rehearsal, the next day I would go to the dance studio in high spirits, until because of the uncoordinated limbs, after falling and getting bruised all over, I couldn't stand up anymore. I could only look at him with red eyes. I looked at him with full of apology. I'm sorry, Li Jingyuan. I will practice dancing well. Please don't abandon me, okay? I thought I would be scolded by him. Unexpectedly, Li Jingyuan just handed me a bottle of water silently. He looked at me with complicated eyes and a little distressed. As long as you behave, I will never abandon you. At that time, I just felt Li Jingyuan was looking at another person through me. Later I learned that his white moonlight had not yet become a dancer. Li Jingyuan was his only dance partner. I also begged for mercy from the strict him with red eyes, but it doesn't matter. Money is enough. I just want to earn enough money to find a suitable kidney source for my mother. What if I become a substitute again? But at that time, I didn't know that all the gifts of fate had already been secretly marked with a price. When he mistook me for Bai Yueguang because of the drug and pressed me tightly under him, when I suffered a night of pain because of him, and finally found out that I was still pregnant after trying every means. When his mother forced me to marry him after knowing that there was a grandson, I thought this was the highest limit I could bear, but I never thought that Lin Suqian divorced her ex-husband and returned home with a big belly, at the family dinner of the Li family, in public. I miscarried because I took a bite of egg custard. All the resentment rushed to me at once. Li's mother scolded me for not being a good mother. Li's father even blamed me for taking contraceptive pills indiscriminately, which made the fetus extremely weak. I collapsed in a pool of blood and couldn't move. I could only look at Li Jingyuan with a look of help, but I didn't expect that he just silently supported Lin Suqian, who was fainting from blood, silently avoided my sight. He also once devoted his heart and soul to this child. I think it's my fault, but who wouldn't blame me? I also resent Li Jingyuan for treating me like his moonlight after he became important. I also resent that I took birth control pills desperately and tried every contraceptive method, but I still got pregnant with this child. I could only marry Li Jingyuan and retire when my career was at its peak, but I could only explain that I didn't intentionally abort this child. There must be something wrong with the egg custard, but no one believed me. This has even become an excuse for Li Jingyuan to live with Lin Suqian whenever I couldn't stand it and mentioned divorce. Li Jingyuan just looked at me with a complicated expression. You killed my child. How can you be so cool? I will be entangled with you for the rest of my life as retribution for you killing my child. It would make me more painful. Outside, he would only look at Lin Suqian affectionately. There was even news that he and Lin Suqian were a pair of star-crossed lovers. I was unwilling to divorce me. Everyone thought I would hate Li Jingyuan to death. But I didn't expect that I had only been entangled with him for 30 years. No one expected that I would be so extreme when I was 50. After sending away my only relative, I stood on a tall building and forced Li Jingyuan to sign the divorce agreement, and then jumped down. In the end, I was still free. Miss Chu, don't rush to refuse. I will give you the 30 million here as long as you agree to be my female companion. I will even invest 100 million in your company later. Take your time to think about it, don't rush. In the face of my refusal, Li Jingyuan just took the phone and smiled and added my contact information. After he left, his agent Li Go was sweating profusely. Chu, isn't your mother suffering from uremia and waiting for money to treat her illness and save lives? You don't love money, and you don't care about your mother's life, but I beg you to care about me. How many movies can you make the company earn 100 million? And I just looked at Brother Li with silent eyes. I said to him calmly, as long as I take the movie, you agree to let me take it, whether it's 30 million or 100 million, we'll see the result in a year. In the last life, the Li Group only invested money. But I can become a big star who can carry a drama not just because of him. As long as I follow the vision of selecting movies in the previous life, it will not be wrong, as long as I don't deal with Li Jingyuan in this life. I would rather work hard than be the canary again, but I didn't expect a phone call to interrupt my plan. The kidney source that my mother had been looking for in the previous life was found on the first day of my rebirth. As long as I can take out 30 million immediately, my mother can be saved. Li Jingyuan, what are you doing? If Li Jingyuan didn't play tricks on me, I wouldn't believe it. In my previous life, I waited for 30 years to find a suitable kidney source for my mother. When my mother was lying on the hospital bed, she held my hand and begged me to go find my father. I had no choice but to sign a letter of commitment to give up treatment. I personally sent away my only relative in the world. Now tell me, the first day of my rebirth, my mother has a kidney source. And it just happened to cost only 30 million. I should have been happy, but my first reaction was to cry loudly. Li Jingyuan, Li family, I can bear all the consequences. Why do you have to involve my mother? She wanted to live, but she was wiped out of life. But my thoughts turned around, and finally lowered my eyes. I dialed the number that Li Jingyuan had left before and asked aloud. I heard Li Jingyuan's low-pressure laughter from the other end of the phone. It's just a small favor. Miss Chu, are you going to reject me now? I've already told you, don't be in a hurry to reject me. You can't leave me. You can't leave me. These words are nightmares that accompany me all my life. In my previous life, I wanted to file for divorce countless times. After countless failures, Li Jingyuan always said this meaningfully, until the end. After I forced him to sign the divorce agreement and jumped down, he hugged my broken body with red eyes. He trembled in my ear and said, Chu, you can't leave me, because I want to be bound to you for life. That was the last memory of my previous life, but it made me sweat now. I could only remain silent for a moment. Take a deep breath and then reply, I agree, but I will only be your female companion for the dinner party, nothing else. You should know the bottom line. I know Chu, don't worry. How can I bear to touch you now? I will transfer the money to you first, but I will come to you to sign the contract tomorrow. Li Jingyuan's voice was extremely gentle, and he hung up the phone politely after speaking. Abnormal, it was really abnormal. Everyone in the entertainment industry knows that Li Jingyuan, the prince of the Beijing circle, has always been cold and tyrannical. Even when we first met in the previous life, his attitude towards me was also cold and mixed with disgust. how could he be so gentle and easy to talk to now? But now I am anxious to go to the hospital to visit my mother and pay the money for the operation. I can only suppress this doubt in my heart for the time being, but this finally made me alert. Since Li Jingyuan's attitude has changed because of my rebirth, the road ahead is unknown. Is this the new female companion that Mr. Li has found? At the banquet where the wine was flowing, I stood beside Li Jingyuan and held his arm, smiling gently and appropriately. I watched my mother finish the operation with my own eyes. Finally, I signed a contract with Li Jingyuan to be his female companion. Since I broke up with Li Jingyuan in my previous life, I have never attended such an occasion again. So I looked very immature. On the contrary, it was a bit like the first time I attended such a banquet in my memory, and Li Jingyuan faced the question of his partner. He raised the corner of his mouth and explained to him rarely, Ms. Chu, but I will never change the female companion I have waited for so hard. Ms. Li has a good eye. If I were to hold Miss Chu as beautiful as her in my hands, I would have to hold her in my hands. As he said that, he stretched out his hand to show his goodwill to me, and I looked at Li Jingyuan's partner with such respect. I just felt very strange. Even if I was married to Li Jingyuan in my previous life, the friends around him have always looked down on me. They looked down on my background. But I was eager to get their approval. Sometimes they even teased Li Jingyuan and Lin Suqian in front of me. I just laughed at it. But now, I no longer need others' approval. I will no longer be so humble to show my goodwill to them. I slowly stretched out my hand, shook it politely, and then quickly let go. Then I made an excuse to touch up my makeup. I quickly walked to the bathroom and washed my hands frantically. At the moment of shaking hands with the partner, I suddenly remembered. It was also this dinner in my previous life. It was also the first time I was Li Jingyuan's female companion. He was talking to Li Jingyuan at the time, without caring that I was next to him. He just looked at me contemptuously before leaving. Then he smiled at Li Jingyuan and said, "Boss Li, when Lin Suqian comes back, you will be tired of playing with this little star. Remember to introduce her to me." Li Jingyuan just smiled and cursed. "It's a wishful thinking. If you can really get Lin Suqian back, pack this little star and put her in your bed immediately." Hearing this, the partner just approached Li Jingyuan and smiled obscenely. "That's why you are not well informed, Boss Li. You don't know that Lin Suqian and her husband are not in harmony. Are you going to have news of divorce?" Maybe I saw a different face of a person in his past and present lives at the banquet. I sat in the car on the way home. Things from my past life kept flashing in my mind, from a 20s with a group of friends, relatives around, and a popular career, to a 50-year-old lonely and penniless. I have seen all kinds of people in my previous life. Among them, the most hypocritical is Li's adopted daughter Lin Suqian. When the news of my marriage to Li Jingyuan came, she hurried back to China. She was even pregnant and signed the divorce agreement in China. But Li Jingyuan attached great importance to her return. Not only did he turn down the opportunity to accompany me for prenatal checkups, he also specially called his parents to welcome her. It was just because Lin Suqian was once Li Jingyuan's white moonlight. Back then, Li Jingyuan could even give up inheriting the Li family for her, but Lin Suqian refused because her parents couldn't accept it. She turned around and married a top dancer from abroad. All this was after I had a miscarriage. Lin Suqian said that her sister-in-law had just married into the Li family and that her sister couldn't hide it from her sister-in-law. She told me the truth in tears in front of my bed. She even showed me a video she took when she and Li Jingyuan were childhood sweethearts. The boy and girl in it were full of youth. They hugged and kissed unscrupulously on the playground. They watched a firework together in the heavy snow. It was from that time that I had the idea of divorce. But when Li Jingyuan found out, he just looked at me and said indifferently, "Then what? You were in a hurry to divorce just because our child died? Choo-choo, you are not. You deliberately aborted our child because you are jealous of Lin Suqian. In that case, don't blame me for doing something more excessive." At that time, I always thought, he dragged me to not divorce because he resented me for accidentally aborting the child. It was a punishment for me. But I didn't expect that they also did something to my mother in the previous life. They blocked my mother's kidney source and let her die. And this marriage full of misunderstandings is like a spider web. It entangled me so that I couldn't breathe, until, in the end, I exchanged my life for freedom. "Are you going to get on the plane soon? I will pick you up early tomorrow morning. Have a safe journey. When you come back, my parents and I will welcome you." Maybe I have been immersed in my previous life. Unconsciously, I gradually closed my eyes. Li Jingyuan was on the phone. I woke up as soon as I left. I realized the car had been parked for a long time. "Are we there? Then I'll go back first." "I'm going." I couldn't wait to pick up my things and get off the car. Unexpectedly, Li Jingyuan suddenly spoke, "Choo-choo, you have a good sleep and go with me to meet someone tomorrow." I only heard the second half of the conversation in the car. I thought it would be to meet Li Jingyuan's partner. Unexpectedly, Lin Suqian, who would not come back until half a year, returned to China in advance. "Who are you?" At the airport, Lin Suqian threw herself into Li Jingyuan's arms as soon as she came out. Then she looked at me with a strange face. but Li Jingyuan touched her head very familiarly. This is Chu Chu, my current female companion. As for the future identity, I don't know. I stood aside and smiled. There is no other choice for the future identity except stranger. I don't want to suffer the pain of the last life again. When Lin Suqian heard Li Jingyuan's introduction, her face changed secretly. Suddenly she reached out and held Li Jingyuan's arm. She greeted me intimately. Your name is Chu Chu. Right, Jingyuan told me about yours, but I almost forgot. Hello, I'm Lin Suqian, the adopted daughter of the Li family. She stepped forward with her high heels. I subconsciously took a step back, but I never thought that Li Jingyuan would frown at her high heels. Suqian, why are you wearing high heels when you're pregnant? But Lin Suqian turned around with a puzzled look on her face. Jingyuan, what are you talking about? How come I didn't know I was pregnant? I looked up at Li Jingyuan instantly, my heart beating non-stop. Lin Suqian obviously didn't know she was pregnant, so how did Li Jingyuan know? Or, was Li Jingyuan also reborn? I thought I was just accompanying Li Jingyuan to pick someone up, but I didn't expect him to take me back to the Li family directly. The Li family is still the same as in the previous life. Even the watchdog at home looks down on people. Nanny Wang Ma watched Li Jingyuan's car drive in, waiting at the door early. The smile on her face became more exaggerated after seeing Li Jingyuan open the door for Lin Suqian, who was sitting in the passenger seat. Miss, you haven't been back for a long time. The master and his wife really miss you. Lin Suqian saw Wang Ma wanting to go up and take a closer look at her. A faint disdain flashed in her eyes. She quickly handed the bag in her hand to Wang Ma, and Wang Ma didn't feel it. She happily took Lin Suqian's bag and watched her walk out from behind. She asked with a smile, young master, who is this? She is Chu Chu, who came together to welcome Suqian. Wang Ma, remember to add an extra set of bowls and chopsticks. Li Jingyuan lightly avoided my identity, and Wang Ma's smile also dropped a little. She looked at me meaningfully and turned directly into the kitchen. For a while, the living room was extremely silent. Lin Suqian sat on the sofa holding Li Jingyuan's arm. She cried and said that she should have stayed at that time. Li Jingyuan looked at Lin Suqian with a doting look in his eyes. The atmosphere between the two was extremely warm. Lin Suqian glanced at me sitting alone beside him. There was a sense of pride in her eyes. I felt so bored that I simply got up and went to the bathroom to hide. I stood there to get some fresh air when I passed by the balcony, but I didn't expect that I would hear the conversation between Wang Ma and Lin Suqian at the corner on my way back. That woman surnamed Chu is such a bitch. I watched you and the young master grow up, but she got involved in your relationship. Wang Ma, I knew you were the best to me since I was a child, but you also know that my parents pay the most attention to their grandchildren. What if that bitch gets pregnant? Don't worry, miss. Wang Ma will definitely not let others take away your things. I will make sure she never has a child again. I covered my mouth and watched the video recorded on my phone. My pupils were so shocked that they dilated unconsciously. In my previous life, I came to the Li family because I married Li Jingyuan after I got pregnant. Although Wang Ma always looked down on me secretly, she didn't dare to show it, even in front of Li's father and mother. She had to respectfully please me and the child in my belly, so I never thought that the child in my previous life was caused by her. Even after I had a miscarriage, after the doctor said that I was completely infertile, she came to comfort me and said that I could live without a child. Now I think about it. Her comforting smile at that time made me feel cold all over. She didn't come to comfort me. She came to confirm that I really lost my fertility. Good. Lin Suqian made way. In the previous life, Lin Suqian not only occupied Li Jingyuan firmly, in addition to showing affection in public and various public occasions, his son was also brought by Li Jingyuan to be trained as an heir. I am sure that Li Jingyuan cheated on Lin Suqian many times after my miscarriage. But I didn't leave a child before I died. I just heard that he was no longer fertile. I couldn't help but think about it. Until the welcoming banquet for Lin Suqian began, my thoughts were still drifting. Choo choo. This fish is so delicious, why don't you eat it? If the fish I picked for you doesn't suit your taste, I'll ask Wang Ma to redo it. But after all, this is the fish that Mom picked for you personally. Do you have any objection to Mom if you don't eat it? I came to my senses and saw the fishtail on the plate. It was full of bone spurs, not to mention that there was no place to bite. If you don't know, you might think it was leftover garbage, and Li's mother was still sitting upright. She looked at me with a polite smile on her face. Miss Chu, is this fish not to your taste? It's okay, guests are welcome. Wang Ma, is there any extra fish in the kitchen? Bring it to Miss Chu. Extra fish. When the fish from the kitchen was served again, Li's mother smiled and added a fishtail for me. It was a hint that could not be more subtle. In the current situation, I just maintained a polite smile. Auntie, I'm full and don't need it. How can you be full if you haven't eaten anything yet? Seeing that I really stopped eating, Lin Suqian became anxious instead. She cried pitifully. I don't know what it was like before. Did my return ruin my sister's appetite? Why didn't you eat a single bite of food at my welcoming banquet? Did I offend my sister in some unknown place? While smiling, she also picked up a fish for me. Looking at the fish that was served later, I was almost sure that Wang's mother had put the drug in it. Because it was specially made for me, and she knew that Lee's mother would definitely use this to demonstrate to me if she asked her to stay. For a moment, there were clearly 5 people at the dinner table, but the 2 men were watching silently there. Enjoying the privilege of being a man and not getting involved in a fight, the Lee family has always been feudal and perverted. The family tradition is bad from the root. I just lowered my head and looked at the 2 fish tails on the plate that I couldn't tell apart, slowly waiting for the fish to bite. I appreciate Aunt Lee's kindness, but I can't eat both fish tails, since eating either one would be a betrayal of Aunt Lee's kindness. Just leave them both. Lin Suqian was completely anxious now, almost disregarding her manners. She quickly took a fish tail from my plate. Suqian, how can you be so rude? Lee's mother saw this and scolded her harshly. But Lin Suqian just smiled and begged for mercy, and said coquettishly, Mom, I love to eat fish tails, and I'm very jealous that you gave both fish tails to Choo Choo. Then she took off the meat from the fish tails and ate them. Then she looked at me complacently. I know she has been staring at the fish without drugs. She did this just to dispel his suspicion, but he didn't know that I quietly moved the fish to another place. Seeing this, I also ate the good fish. When they were about to finish their meal, Lin Suqian covered her stomach with her hands, her face pale. Mom, my stomach hurts so much. Then Lee's mother screamed, resounding throughout the restaurant. Suqian, why are you bleeding? Lin Suqian's child was not saved in the end. She lay in a pool of blood, wailing loudly that her lower abdomen hurt. Everyone surrounded her. Li Jingyuan was anxious and had already gone to the underground garage to drive. Lee's mother hugged Lin Suqian, her eyes full of heartache. My dear daughter, you didn't even know you were pregnant. How could you suddenly miscarry? And Lee's father was even more anxious. Suqian, hold on. Dad will ask your brother to take you to the hospital, but I noticed Wang Ma hiding behind the pillar. Her eyes were red and she looked anxious. She wished she could empathize with Lin Suqian and use her own death to exchange for Lin Suqian's health, but because of her status and position, she could only hide in the dark and secretly watch. In fact, if you look closely, Lin Suqian's facial features are somewhat similar to Wang Ma's, but because Wang Ma usually lowers her head, so no one can remember what she looks like. I remembered that Lin Suqian was thrown on the hood of Lee's father's car. There were no dash cams in that era, so naturally, it was impossible to find out who put it there. At that time, Lee's mother had long wanted a daughter. But because she was injured by giving birth to Li Jingyuan, she could no longer have children, so Lin Suqian's sudden appearance, on the contrary, they were happy to accept it. I observed the reactions of everyone present indifferently. I secretly made a calculation in my mind. But she didn't give birth to a child. Lin Suqian glanced at me weakly, then she burst into tears at me. Choo Choo, I have no grudge against you. Why do you want to hurt me? You poisoned the plate, right? Lin Suqian didn't dare to lead the matter to the fish, because it would expose Wang Ma. But what's so smart about leading the matter to the tableware? It's all just nonsense. But obviously someone believed it. I know you are a broom, but I should not let you attend the family dinner. I tell you that if Lin Suqian can't get better, you will never be able to enter my Li family's door for the rest of your life. Really, that's what I want. Outside the operating room, Lee's father was silent and Lee's mother burst into tears. Only Li Jingyuan looked at me with red eyes. Wang Ma knelt aside and tried to throw dirty water on me. Mr. and Mrs. You all know that I cook at home. The kitchen stove is always clean. How could I, a person with misophobia, poison someone? The only possibility is, she raised her head and glanced at me secretly, and everything was self-explanatory. Mother Li pointed at me and cried bitterly. We kept you here for dinner because we treated you as a guest. What did you do to cause my daughter to miscarry? She became more and more excited, and even wanted to grab my clothes. Seeing this, Li Jingyuan hurriedly pulled me aside. He held my arms and stared at me. Lin Suqian, tell me, what did you do and what did you drug? She just ate a fish tail on your plate to avoid your embarrassment. Are you jealous of her? I laughed out loud when I heard this. I'm jealous of her. Li Jingyuan, do you want to listen to what you are saying? Is there anything about her that I should be jealous of? Why should I do something to her for no reason? Silence in an instant. Even Li's mother's crying became much quieter. Because you love me. You are jealous of me being nice to her? Choo Choo, admit it. You can't leave me, Pa. I still couldn't help it. I slapped Li Jingyuan hard. If you didn't use my mother's kidney to force me to sign a contract with you, how could I agree to be your female companion? As for I can't leave you, even I love you? I looked up and down at Li Jingyuan. His handsome face and the identity of the prince of the Beijing circle are indeed very eye-catching. But in my eyes, there is only full of rotten disgust. Li Jingyuan, you are too self-aware, aren't you? If I had a choice, I would like to stay away from you. Then I whispered a few words into his ear, my eyes full of coldness. I hated you to death in my last life, so how could I love you in this life? I looked at Li Jingyuan with shock and his pupils trembling. I smiled and left him. He turned around and walked away, but suddenly thought of something and said to Li's father beside him, Uncle, as the head of the family, you really have no ability to distinguish. I doubt whether your Li family is about to go bankrupt. Remember to call the police if there is anything, and don't put the blame on others if there is nothing. Lee's father and mother were furious, pointing at me. They were so angry that they trembled and couldn't speak. In the previous life, Lee's father was high and mighty and ordered Lee's mother to come forward to settle the family affairs. He was innocent, like a fair and honest head of the family. In fact, his own interests override all emotions, all the actions of the Lee family. In the end, he will make the final decision, so he was the least innocent one in my previous life. What's funny is the previous life, because the heir he recognized, Lee Jingyuan, couldn't give birth to a child. He even ignored his advanced age and found many people on the pretext of continuing the family line. It's a pity that he didn't give birth to a second child before he died. Thinking of what Wang Ma and Lin Suqian had recorded before, I felt that the Lee family would be in chaos sooner or later. When that happens, I just need to stand by and watch the show. I chuckled and finally let them go for the time being. I turned around and left this place of trouble. Before signing the contract, I read the agreement of Lee Jingyuan. As long as I can pay back 30 million within a year, I can automatically terminate the contract. So I began to look for those scripts that must be popular according to my memory of my previous life. I have played them before, and now I can do it easily. By the way, I left Brother Lee's small company and opened a studio by myself. I started signing artists and scripts. Only by becoming a capitalist can you have resources in your hands. In that case, 30 million a year is not a problem at all, but I didn't expect that while I was acting, I kept contacting various resources in the circle, but I found that Lin Suqian. I secretly took a dance variety show behind her dance troupe. I also wanted to become famous in one fell swoop. I was not too surprised by her behavior. After all, in my previous life, after I retired from the entertainment industry, it was Lin Suqian who took over my resources, but in my previous life, when she saw me enter the entertainment industry, she also started acting, but because she didn't have the talent for acting and the spirit of hard work, she chose to use a stand-in to complete the picture, and her stand-in is her current assistant. In the end, the person who can really be called my successor is her assistant Li Miao. At this moment, I looked at Li Miao, who was beaten and scolded by Lin Suqian in the ward. In the previous life, the third female was a stand-in for Lin Suqian for 10 years. In the end, she died in a wire accident, not to mention losing her life on the spot. Even before her death, her wish was to terminate the employment contract with Lin Suqian, to see her face in the play, because as a stand-in, all parts except her face can be exposed. Looking at her in the ward, she kept bowing her head to apologize to Lin Suqian. I decided to help her realize this wish, not because of a heart attack, but because she can bring me more benefits, and as an evenly matched opponent in the previous life, I respect her for not wanting him to die early at the age of 30. We were opponents in the previous life. In this life, we can be teammates. I pushed open the door and entered Lin Suqian's ward. It was a mess inside, with warm meals thrown all over the floor. The girl with square-framed glasses lowered her head. She squatted down and stuffed the food into her mouth, while vaguely saying sorry. Seeing me come in, Lin Suqian put away her ferocious expression, sneered at me. Why are you here to laugh at me? You killed my child and now you want to come and hurt me? I tell you, I will never forgive you. As she said that, she rolled under the bed and instantly fell on the glass shards on the ground. I didn't know why Lin Suqian was acting this way. When I subconsciously moved forward to help, I was pushed to the wall by a strong force. Li Jingyuan quickly put down the case in his hand and hugged Lin Suqian tightly, yelling at me, "Chu Chu, I asked you to see Suqian. Why do you vent your anger on an innocent person?" Lin Suqian nestled in Li Jingyuan's arms, stretched out her hands full of glass fragments, and her eyes were red. "Jingyuan, my whole body hurts. I don't know where I offended Chu Chu so that she regards me as a thorn in her side." One after another, frame me. I just watched them act quietly, then I accidentally glanced at the medical records that Li Jingyuan had thrown on the ground. The condition on it was very familiar. In my previous life, I went to the hospital for checkups countless times. I also saw the same result countless times. It's just that the wheel of fate has finally come back to the culprit. I chuckled and took out the recorder prepared by my students. Lin Suqian, be more thoughtful next time you frame someone. It clearly played what Lin Suqian had just said. Then I turned around and said to Li Jingyuan, who was in deep thought, I didn't come here to apologize to Lin Suqian. I didn't do anything wrong. Chu Chu, when did you become like this? You didn't come here to apologize to Lin Suqian. But to add insult to injury, Li Jingyuan looked at me with disbelief in his eyes. It seemed that I had done something wrong by not apologizing here, but I didn't do anything wrong. That's right, I'm here to add insult to injury. If you have the guts, call the police. I came this time only because I heard that the third girl had signed a contract with Lin Suqian not long ago to be her personal assistant. Lin Suqian is not worth my trip, but the third girl is, seeing that I was really unscrupulous. I even took out my cell phone. Lin Suqian cried while holding the blood-stained hand. Jingyuan, I feel dizzy and bleed a lot. Can you take me to see a doctor first? Li Jingyuan immediately panicked. Lin Suqian, who was picked up by a princess, ran out. And I looked at the little girl who had been silently cleaning up the mess, pick up the iodine tincture placed aside, bandage her bloody hand. Why are you so nice to me? She looked at me with vigilance, as if she didn't believe I was a good person. And I just looked at her and chuckled. Of course, it's because I see your potential and I'm going to let you make money for me. Besides, don't you hate Lin Suqian? Don't you want to have a chance to shine? As soon as these words came out, the originally hesitant third girl immediately agreed. My small studio now has a formal artist, plus, I just happened to be able to get all the popular scripts this year. I was even obsessed with work for a long time and forgot about Li Jingyuan's existence. Not only did I pay back the 30 million owed to Li Jingyuan in just half a year, my career has gone further than in my previous life, from a big actress in my previous life to a top actress today. Not only me, but also the third girl signed by the studio has been steadily promoted. The night the money was transferred, it was the same day when I was murdered and miscarried in my previous life. In my previous life, I fell in a pool of blood, was accused by everyone, and was looked down upon by everyone. In this life, I ushered in my complete freedom. I was so surprised that I couldn't sleep. I finally closed my eyes in the middle of the night, but I was woken up by a phone call from my agent. Oh no. Lin Suqian just pointed out on the variety show that you are famous today because you sell your body. She also said that you are jealous of her and used tricks to get rid of his child. Now the whole internet is discussing this matter. I have received several messages from you that you want to terminate the endorsement contract, but we don't have the money to return it to them in our studio account. Choo-choo, are we finished? What are you finished? You should wait for my news, the career I worked hard for, the freedom I have not yet begun to experience. How can I let Lin Suqian's rumors destroy everything? It's really crying before seeing the coffin. I haven't thought about how to deal with the video in my hand. Now is the time. Click send, and then tag. I am innocent throughout the whole process of the matter. Tag the police uncle and report someone poisoning me with my real name. The whole internet exploded in an instant. Who is hurting whom in this gossip? Let me, a gossip eater, sort it out. Thanks for the invitation. I just sorted it out. So far, there is no evidence on Lin Suqian's side. She is just shouting recklessly, but Choo-choo has really smashed out the evidence here. You can't judge a person by his appearance. Who would have thought that Lin Suqian would start to fall apart just after she became popular in the dance program as a goddess? I really don't know what you like about Choo-choo, because Lin Suqian is beautiful, kind, professional, and good. Is it okay to believe in a beautiful woman? The comments below continued to add without waiting. A paparazzi had already blocked Lin Suqian, and Lin Suqian faced the camera. Her eyes were red and she was about to cry, and she was wearing a very thin white dress. Choo-choo, brother Jingyuan is very angry because you did so many wrong things and didn't admit it. I will forgive the harm you caused to me because of jealousy, but I just want an apology from you, right? The evaluation reversed in an instant. The comments online were all scolding me for stealing men and being a mistress. I don't deserve to be a star at all, until, when Lin Suqian wanted to continue talking. She was summoned by the police in front of all the cameras. The whole network was in an uproar. Li Jingyuan and Li's father and mother rushed to the detention center as soon as possible. What's going on? Suqian said, all the facts. Why don't you let us talk? In the adjustment room, Li's mother hugged Lin Suqian and yelled at the police, and Lin Suqian just looked at Li Jingyuan tremblingly. Li Jingyuan, you have to believe me, I am innocent. I know Choo-choo has always disliked me and has always been jealous that I attracted your attention, but this is not my fault. Because we really love each other, right? Lin Suqian was taken away by the police in front of everyone, and now she is completely panicked. She can say anything. But she didn't see Li's mother's face change in front of her. Li Jingyuan opened his mouth to speak. Before she was born, she was interrupted by the police. Father Li on the side spoke hurriedly, comrade. What did my daughter do to be arrested? Is there any misunderstanding? I followed the police and walked slowly into the room. I smiled at them. There is no misunderstanding. It's just a rumor. The evidence is solid. Choo-choo, you are indeed a jinx. You have started to bring bad luck to people here before you even enter the Li family. What rumor? We are a family. What rumor can there be? At once, the voices of Wang Ma and Li Mu appeared at the same time. I realized that Wang Ma had been arrested. The whole adjustment room was silent in an instant. The police coughed and asked Li Jingyuan, I need to wait for you to report the details in advance before I can tell you, but it's basically about your nanny abandoning the baby and poisoning you. And Choo-choo's rumor-mongering case is all about Wang and Lin. Just sign and go for the physical examination if you have no objection. The result is beyond doubt. No one expected that my mother Wang would be so cruel. There will be no new life in the entire Li family from now on. How can there be no descendants so easily? Father Li muttered to himself while looking at the examination form, while Mother Li was even more direct. Mother Wang, you are also an old man in the family. Lin Suqian's wet nurse, how has our family ever done anything wrong to you that makes you so hateful? Tell me. Mother Li tore at Mother Wang frantically. But Mother Wang said nothing and just asked the police anxiously, comrade, Lin Suqian is innocent. How could she be so good and spread rumors? Please, check it carefully. She can't go to jail. She is a star. What's the difference if you ruin her career? Then what's the difference if your biological daughter ruins others? When the police said that, everyone present looked at the document in his hand. It was clearly written on it that Wang Ma and Lin Suqian were biological mother and daughter. In other words, the cuckoo took over the magpie's nest. The Li family raised someone else's child for more than 20 years. But in the end, their own family sterilized it. Fake. It's all fake. The first person who couldn't accept it was Lin Suqian. She stepped forward to grab the paternity test report, tore it into pieces, and scattered it all over the sky, but everyone who should know knew it. Li's father's fingers moved tremblingly between Wang Ma and Lin Suqian, and Li's mother closed her eyes and fainted completely. Only Li Jingyuan's eyes were left looking at Lin Suqian, from the original tenderness. He wanted to cut her into pieces. I said that we couldn't have children before, and our Li family was extinct. Lin Suqian, you and Wang Ma are really hiding it. I will see you now and let you stay in this dark prison forever and die of old age. Lin Suqian looked at Li Jingyuan in disbelief, with a face full of grievances. Jingyuan, you said you would protect me, you said you would love me forever. Seeing that Li Jingyuan was still indifferent, his tears had no effect. Then he turned his words to me. It's all because of you, the mistress. If it weren't for you, how could Li Jingyuan not love me? If I go to prison, I will drag you to be buried with me. He was about to tear me apart. Enough. Li Jingyuan forcibly pulled Lin Suqian away and pushed her to the ground. Lin Suqian, don't mention love to me. I find it disgusting. From now on, you and I are just enemies. After saying that, she made a call and asked the Li group to send a lawyer quickly. Unexpectedly, Wang Ma saw that her daughter had completely lost her future. She looked at Li's father and laughed gloomily a few times, turned to the police. Comrade, can I reduce my daughter's sentence if I help her make meritorious service? I want to report now that the Li group is evading taxes, and the evidence is hidden in the Li family's study. She laughed at the Li family. My daughter is also your adopted daughter. Why don't you give all the money in the family to my daughter? If it weren't for you, would my daughter have to suffer in the entertainment industry? Now that my daughter's future is gone, we must die together. Wang Ma tightly protected Lin Suqian, like a lioness protecting her cubs. She stared at the Li family, wishing she could bite off a piece of meat. The Li group collapsed and the Li family went to prison. The Red Dancer first spread rumors and then went to jail. These two pieces of news were highly searched, and everyone was eating melons at the same time. Only I, looking at the romantic Li Jingyuan across the prison, smiled and handed over a card. It was a card that Li Jingyuan gave me when he asked me to be his female companion. How much money is in it and can it be used? I don't know about this. After all, I want to stay away from him. So how can I look at the things he gave me? There is only 10 minutes of visiting time in total. Seeing that he didn't talk, I was too lazy to stay. But when I got up, I heard him say, I heard that Lin Suqian next door went completely crazy and ran around when she saw my mother. What happened in the previous life? It's all my fault that I didn't know people well and believed Lin Suqian. So you suffered so much. Choo choo, you hate me. The third girl sent me a message on my phone. She said that the martial arts film she participated in won the best actress. The company's stocks soared again. My agent sent me a message that the organizer of the awards ceremony for best actress tomorrow had already notified me that I had won the award. I listened to Li Jingyuan's words carelessly, and I just turned my head to look at him. I don't hate him. Hate lasts longer than love, but you don't deserve it. I turned and left, but when I pushed the door, I heard the sound of crying inside. As for how much of the sincere regret was there, I don't know. Choo choo. As long as you agree to be my female companion, you can use all the resources around me. Okay, Ji-Ru. And then adjusted her state. I went to see my mother who had recovered. I immediately flew to the capital to attend my belated awards ceremony. Looking at the flashlights under the stage, I couldn't help but shed tears while holding the trophy. I cried with joy. In my previous life, I retired when I was at the peak of my popularity and missed this trophy. I was no longer qualified to win it. Now I raise it again. The haze of my previous life finally dissipated and I have my own new life.